English Heritage says the homemade versions of puddings like apple crumble, treacle sponge, spotted dick are on the verge of extinction. Once a staple of the family dinner, now only 1 in 50 British households enjoys a daily homemade pudding. This is according to the conservation charity. They conducted a survey and it found that half of those born before 1970 said their parents made puddings several times a week, but only a quarter of those born in the 70s said the same thing. The decline in homemade puddings has increased every year since, with more than a quarter of 18 to 24-year-olds saying their parents have never made them a hot pudding. So the question is, do you still make them in your house? Why are you laughing like that, Jeremy Edwards? Do you remember what your mum and your grandma used to make? Well, I do. Apple pie, apple strudel, tarts with like plum tart, and that kind of rhubarb crumble and things like that. I mean, that's what it used to be. What about you?
I love them, but I've not baked since my kids were little, but it used to be a weekly activity. I love it, but I don't do it.
Can I interest you in a taste of one of these?
You absolutely can.
I absolutely can. Oh, good,
It would be better with fresh cream on it, mind you.
Now, Claire, you actually do make puddings still.
I do.
This one?
Even there's nothing nicer than doing a dinner party menu and you've got your guests coming over. Thank you very much. And, you know, if eat and mess is really easy to do. The cakes in the oven, you've got a bit of an issue there if you're doing your meat or your chicken or your veg or whatever. You don't want the smell to contaminate. But a decent mango cake in the winter.
Did you say a decent mango cake?
Yeah.
What's your recipe for a quick decent mango cake? Or indecent? I don't mind if it's decent or indecent. What's it like?
It's delicious. So the mangoes are done with brown sugar and butter. Loads of butter in my cooking. And then the sponge is delicious and light on top. Then you flip it over, serve it with some creme fraiche. Birthday cakes, Victoria sandwich, everything, you know. But you make them with love. I do anyway. You know?
I'm waiting for my invite.
And it tastes, honest to God, you are welcome.
I mean, she's fast becoming my new best friend, but now I've heard about the cooking even more. I'm coming to stay
you're
for at least one
indulging.
weekend. Now, let's bring in an expert on this, on puddings. What a great thing to be an expert on. Bryony May Williams, known as Bryony May Bakes to Instagram. She competed in Great British Bake Off in 2018, and she's going to be bringing out a book called The Retro Recipe Society. What a great title. So she's the perfect person to talk to about puddings. Hello, Bryony. Lovely to have you on. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. I mean, I've got all this in front of me, so I'm pretty happy. How are you?
I'm fine. Just talk us through what you've got in front of you, and also give us a quick view on how to make it or bake it, whatever you've got to do to it.
So I've got a bread and butter pudding here. This is very traditional. This was actually my mum's recipe that she wrote down in her recipe book that I've put into practice after quite a few years not being used. So, you know, you've got bread, you've got eggs, cream, some raisins, some cinnamon. And then this is, of course, the pavlova, just such a classic. So just lovely meringue with some whipped cream and some fresh fruit. It just doesn't get better than that.
And people who are just watching this and thinking, I don't do it because I don't know how, I don't do it because I haven't got time, or I don't do it because I don't want to get fat, so that's why I'm not doing it. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, I mean, of course, those are our worries, but there's just so much nostalgia that these puddings invokes. There's so much happiness to be had that I just think it's so worth it. We're losing that passing down of recipes, passing down of traditions like these puddings. And I just really wish that we would do that. I've got a 9-year-old and I'm teaching her how to bake. She knows how to make a pavlova. She knows how to make a Victoria sponge because I want her to then pass it down again and again. You know, the recipes that I've been making have come from my great grandmother, you know, over 100 years old. I don't want to lose those.
I'll tell you what my mum used to make, summer pudding, where you soak the bread in the sauce, in the juice from all the fruit that you've stewed.
And it was normal
then
white
you line
bread.
the pudding basin. I'm telling Bryony how to do it. Bryony, you line the pudding basin. But you do, right? And it's delicious, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Chef's kiss. Delish.
And not that difficult to make, is it?
No, that's the joy of these older puddings, is they're not really difficult. They're not super complicated. I think we've overcomplicated a lot of our food these days, whereas this, it just goes back to basics. I mean, in here, it's basically a loaf of bread.
Yeah, and summer pudding's also loaf of bread. You start with the bread, soak it in the fruit juice, don't you? Line the and then you know, all that kind of thing.
Stuff your fruit in, put a weight on top of it.
Weight, I was just going to say that we had this old iron that was the weight. An old iron we used to produce to stick. And also when she made natural tongue, the camera, she'd curl it round in this thingy and then put the weight on the thing to keep the tongue. Oh my God, I remember jelly. Okay, thank you, Bryony. You're lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Let's go to Gail in Berkshire. Gail, you do make a homemade pudding. Tell us.
Yes, I make one most Sundays.
What do
for
you
my
make?
Family.
Which one?
I make crumbles, eaten mess, pavlova, steamed syrup sponge.
Oh, do you? Do you make anything that your mum used to make, or your grandma, or anything like that?
Yeah, my nan was a big baker, and my mum likes cooking as well.
And do you do this just for your own personal use, or do you do this for the family who's eating these lovely puddings?
I've got a husband and 2 sons. They get to eat it, and then obviously if we have family round, we all.
What do you think of the fact that most people just aren't bothering anymore, Gail?
I think it's sad, but obviously people have got very busy lives. As I say, I only really do it mostly on a Sunday because I work in the week. So
well, it sounds delicious,
the
and they're very lucky to have you, aren't they? Thank you for calling. Let's go to Anne in the West Midlands. Anne, you're in your 90s. You were really great at making puddings.
No, I wouldn't say that. But this is such a fun subject you're conducting there today.
Thank you.
No. As a young girl, first job, I used to be with Marguerite Patton. Now, you wouldn't know this lady, but
I
your
do.
mother
I know
would.
exactly, because she was on the cover of one of my mum's cookery books. I know exactly what she looked like.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have known her personally into what she actually did. But your mother would have done. And the word Madeline today refers to a girl's name, but they were also known as pyramids as well. And I used to be her first-hand girl on the stage, and we used to travel the UK, performing in huge auditoriums, church halls, and we'd have as many as up to 300, up to 1,000, depending on the size of the church hall. And she'd conduct these cookery demonstrations, and she always used to include me in them. And she'd say, "Now this is Annie here. She's going to conduct. She's in charge of the pyramids today." And I could never resist chipping in and saying,
"Anne, I have to stop you, but I wish I didn't. We might revisit this subject because it's been so lovely. Thank you so much for calling. Marguerite Patton. I've had that name for years."